Welcome back to another episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Generation X tournament here on the HomeBoiz channel, and we're going to be randomizing the names in the hat, so to speak, in order to see the duelists for the final round of this tournament. We have 5 people, so we're going to have to switch things up a little bit at the end, and we have Jaden Yuki versus Chancellor Sheppard, Aster Phoenix versus Dark Zane, and the winner of that duel will go on to face Zane Truesdale. Amazing matchups right here. And without wasting any time, let's get straight into the first duel. If we're talking about Sheppard's deck, I think Jaden's best chance is to get into a fusion monster as quickly as he can, because the majority of his main deck monsters just cannot handle some of the outright raw power strategies that Chancellor Sheppard can potentially go into, especially go into with more consistency since his deck is significantly shorter. If we look at Jaden's main deck without making any sort of adjustments to it, he has 6 cards in his deck, 10% of his deck, that will allow him to potentially conduct a fusion summon without any sort of setup already being done. So things are looking just a little bit bleak for him in that department. However, going into round 2 and or potentially 3, once we add the 2 Neos fusions, the Sabatiel, and the Future fusion without taking any of the 6 cards he already has away from him, then his odds go all the way up to about 11 out of 60. Not the greatest still, but much more manageable, especially when you take into account the consistency that he's been going into Pot of Greed or Graceful Charity with. I think that with some of the deck thinning options that he does have, it won't be as tremendous as a problem. But if for whatever reason he does not get into a fusion, I think Jaden's gonna be in some big trouble. Now let's take a look at his opponent. Looking at Chancellor Sheppard here, you know, he has a underwhelming amount of monsters in his deck when you look at the ratios. However, he does have significantly better consistency going into any type of fusion that he so pleases, with the Fusion Conscription searching, the Fusion Sages searching, his own Pot of Greed and Graceful Charity that he can theoretically get into quicker, and he can absolutely overpower Jaden's monsters if you don't take into account any set cards, because Fusion Sage can search for Power Bond, and the anime version of Power Bond quantifies itself as polymerization at all times. In addition, he could potentially stall with Cyber Shadow Gardna in order to buy himself some time to dig a little deeper into his 40 card deck. If he manages to somehow get Cyberstein early, then that can spell doom for Jaden, most certainly. And I think the most potent card in Chancellor Sheppard's deck, just like it always has been, is the 2 copies of Scrap Fusion that he does have, which would allow him to use Jaden's already used up resources to his advantage and take potentially one of Jaden's stronger fusion monsters, depending on what is available for him to pillage. But there's only one way to find out which way this match is gonna go. So with that being said, let the duel begin. The first matchup between Jaden Yuki and Chancellor Sheppard, and it looks Sheppard won the coin toss and making Jaden go first, hoping that without that 6th card he would have significantly less consistency. He did open up with the Fusion Sage searching the polymerization. However, despite being able to defy those odds, Jaden Yuki does not have any monsters he could fuse with, let alone 2 monsters, period. So he's going to summon the Grand Mole and hope that Sheppard has nothing that he could potentially swing over. 3 set cards, passing it over to the Chancellor himself. He's going to start the duel off with his own Fusion Sage, but to search a Power Bond instead of a Poly. We're going to see the Graceful Charity activate here to see what other resources he could use before he decides to commit to any sort of summons. And he has a lot of amazing stuff in his hand. We're going to see him throw away the Proto Cyber Dragon and the Cyber Ogre. Now this is a very interesting move because, as you can see, he already has the Cyber Dragon available to him, and we know he has Power Bonds. So if he were to choose so, he could have Power Bonded into a Cyber Twin Dragon. However, I don't think that was the ideal move for him, because he has to be very careful with Jaden's Grand Moles. Even assuming that the 3 face down cards were a bluff, I believe that he takes the damage of the fusion monster regardless with Power Bond. We're going to see him do something very peculiar here. He's going to go into the Cyberstein, paying the 5,000 life points off the bat, which could be very detrimental using both Cyberstein and Power Bond in the same duel. We're going to see the Cyber and Dragon hit the field immediately with the face down card. Cyber Dragon is going to swing into the Grand Mole, attempting to get the effect out of the way. Jaden Yuki most likely would not let it just go through and let the Neospatian die. And I was correct. He's going to send both of the monsters to the hand, allowing Cyberstein to attack directly, as well as Cyber and Dragon. Main phase 2, we're going to see the Monster Reborn activate that he was able to pick up in order to revive the Proto Cyber Dragon. And now with both Proto Cyber and Power Bond, he has both of the Cyber. Oh, he's going to activate the Power Bond now. Much to my surprise, I thought he would have waited in order to avoid the 2,800 points of damage, but now he has a 5,500 beat stick that can attack twice every turn. He's just going all in. Jaden only manages to draw a single trap card, and he summons the Neospatian once again, not attacking into anything. Chancellor Sheppard has the Call of the Haunted here to revive the Cyber Dragon. It looks like everything is going exactly how he could have planned it, and this would have been an OTK if the one card Jaden drew wasn't Mirror Force, activating to destroy all attack position monsters on Sheppard's field, leaving him wide open, defenseless to the 900 attack Neospatian Grand Mole, ending this round. If round 1 between these two wasn't a top deck masterclass, I have no idea what is. We're going to see Jaden going first once again by the Chancellor's request, and he's going to be activating the Elemental Hero Captain Gold from his hand, letting him get the Skyscraper Field spell that can do lots of good for him. But similar to round 1, he only has a couple of face downs and a Neospatian that he can open with. Not a lot going on for him. Meanwhile, Sheppard opens up with Graceful Charity once again, an almost completely filled back row, and the Cyber Esper is coming out. So since it's in attack mode, he will be able to have access to the knowledge of Jaden's hand. He's going to swing into the Neospatian, but he's going to activate Soul Union in response, targeting the Elemental Hero Captain Gold in the graveyard. Soul Union will, I believe, add the 2,100 of Captain Gold to the 600 of Aqua Dolphin, bringing it up to 2,700, I believe, only for this turn. With nothing else to do, Chancellor is going to have to pass, and he only knows 2 cards in Jaden's hand. Neospatian Aqua Dolphin is going to pitch the Neos from the hand in order to potentially pop a card in Sheppard's hand, but he's going to respond with the MST, not trusting that final face down, getting rid of the Battle Fusion. Very, very clutch. But in return, Aqua Dolphin is going to be getting rid of the Oil Man, since it is, in fact, a lower attack point monster than Dolphin himself. He's going to swing in for a direct attack, but Chancellor has one of his 2 Scrap Fusions already, banishing the Neos into the graveyard with the Captain Gold, a warrior monster, in order to summon Jaden's Elemental Hero Neos Knight, a monster that has 2 attacks, and since it just got Fusion summoned, it will gain half of Captain Gold's attack points, bringing it up to a grand total of 3,550. Also, in addition to this, during Jaden's end phase, he's activating Call of the Haunted to bring out the Cyber Ogre. His, I don't know if you can call it a signature or an ace, but Cyber Ogre is going to be swinging over the Neospatian. Neos Knight swings directly for game. Round 2 goes to Sheppard. Both of the rounds of this duel have been a lot more closely contested than we could have ever imagined, and with Jaden losing, he's electing for Sheppard to go first so he can finally get his 6th card into his hand at the beginning of his turn. But they also have been very short rounds between the two, so let's see how short this is going to be, if at all. We're going to see Chancellor Sheppard open up with Graceful Charity for the 3rd time in a row. This might be even better luck than anything Jaden's seen so far, pitching the Cyber Phoenix and the Cyber Shadow, mind you, and he's going to start the duel with Cyberstein, paying that hefty 5,000 to get the Cyber End Dragon with a single face-down card before passing turn. We're going to see Jaden open up with the Neospace Connector to summon either Neos or Neospatian from his hand or deck. In defense mode, he's going to elect to summon the Neospatian Grand Mole, and I believe it still has its effects live. Then Jaden's going to pay half of his life points, bringing himself down to Sheppard's level in order to activate Sabatiel, the Philosopher's Stone, which is going to switch itself out with, I believe, any card in Jaden's deck and or graveyard. He's going to go for the Battle Fusion spell card here, entering the battle phase, swinging into the Cyber End Dragon, popping the Battle Fusion in order to gain its 4,000 attack points, bringing Connector up to 4,800, and since that card was just used, Sabatiel will now return itself to Jaden's hand. But with that monster being dead, now before Jaden's battle phase is going to end, Sheppard's going to activate the Urgent Schedule card to summon Oil Man and Cyber Ogre straight from the deck. We do see that he has some fusion cards in his hand, so we might get to finally see the Cyber Ogre fusion be brought out, and Jaden's going to end his turn there, saving life points for later. Just as I mentioned before, Sheppard here is going to summon the Earth Hex Seal Fusion, which can allow itself to tribute itself along with another fusion material monster in order to make an Earth attribute fusion without polymerization. So here is the Cyber Ogre 2 with 2,500 attack points, and it can gain extra attack when it's attacking during Sheppard's turn. Oil Man is going to be equipping itself, or attempting to, but I guess it just cannot. Cyberstein is going to attempt to kill the Grand Mole, but Grand Mole is going to bounce both of them back, and that was a very strategic move on Sheppard's part as well, because now Cyberstein is off of the field, so he is at much less of a risk of taking more damage, which he cannot afford to do so at the moment. Now the Cyber Ogre 2 is going to successfully swing over the Neospace Connector, leaving Jaden with 1,800, but since a monster got destroyed, here comes Neo Signal to summon the Neospatian Dark Panther to his side of the field, straight out of the deck, and Sheppard's gonna pass his turn there, right back to Jaden. Jaden's gonna open with the powerful starter of Elemental Hero Stratos in order to search for an Elemental Hero from his deck, and he's gonna grab, oh wow, the Elemental Hero on his Neos. Now we're gonna see Jaden activate Dark Panther in order to copy the effects of Oil Man, so I believe Dark Panther can equip itself to any machine monster that he controls. I think he's just using it just for the sake of using it. Now we're going to see Sabatiel pop once again, bringing Jaden Yuki down to the danger zone, 900 life points, in order to get Fusion Sage, a card that he can easily activate here and now. Very smart. Now that he has the polymerization and the Sabatiel again, we're going to see polymerization get activated, fusing the Elemental Hero Sparkman and Avion in order to create the Elemental Hero Sunrise. And on the fusion summon of Sunrise, he is going to be adding Miracle Fusion to his hand. But in addition to that, for every attribute that's on Jaden's field, all of his monsters are going to be gaining an extra 200 points. So Dark Panther goes up to a much more respectable 1,600, Stratos to a threatening 24, and Sunrise to a mighty 31. But he's still not done, and at least I don't think. He's going to be activating Sabatiel for the third time in a row now, bringing his life points to a measly 450, allowing himself to potentially be killed by absolutely anything in order to search. This is Construct Element, which would return fusion monsters on the field to the extra deck to summon the same number of fusions from the extra deck with the same levels. So he is going for the disrespectful OTK, activating it now to get Brave Neos so that he has Sabatiel's third use now. Sabatiel can now multiply the attack of a monster. Miracle Fusion to bring back the Sunrise. This is just rude as all outdoors. Now Sabatiel is going to be activating on Sunrise. Since Sheppard has two monsters on his field, Sunrise's attack gets doubled to 6,200. Neos is going to be giving it an extra 2,500, bringing it up to 87. So we're going to see his lesser monster try to attack Oil Man. Sunrise pops the big threat on Sheppard's field, and we knew this was game, but it's more than just game. This is an OTK. Jaden Yuki wins the match.